The Floating Princess. The poster outside the theater read, "Tonight, 8 p.m., Harry Keller see the marvel of the floating princess." On the poster was a drawing of Keller. A man and a woman stood looking at it. "Keller has a bald head," said the man, "just like my uncle." The woman said, "He does not look like a magician. I don't think he could fool anyone." That is what many people said about Harry Keller. But Keller was one of the best magicians of the early 1900s. Another magician once said, "On the stage, Keller does miracles." The Floating Princess was one of his very special miracles. People in the theater saw a young woman on the stage. She was lying on a sofa. She wore the costume of a princess from India. Her name was Princess Karnak. 9, 8, 7, 6. Keller slowly counted as he hypnotized the princess. "You are falling into a deep sleep. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now you are sleeping. Sleeping. A deep, deep sleep." Keller turned to the people. "Ladies and gentlemen, for hundreds of years, magicians in India have made people float in mid-air. After years of travel and study, I, Harry Keller, have discovered the great secret. Watch." Keller stepped over to the woman on the sofa. He waved his hands above her. "Up," he commanded. For a moment, nothing happened. Princess Karnak stayed on the sofa. Then slowly she began to rise. Up, up. Soon she was 6 feet in the air. Keller pulled away the sofa. There was nothing under the princess. "Impossible," people said. "She's floating in mid-air." A helper gave Keller a large hoop about 5 feet wide. Keller showed it to people in the first row. "Please, feel the hoop," he said. "It is one piece. Make sure there are no spaces in it." The people felt it. They looked at it closely. "Yes," they said. "The hoop is all in one piece." "Then watch," Keller said. Keller went to the floating princess. He placed the hoop over her head. Slowly, he walked to her feet. The hoop passed along the woman's body. Then he walked the hoop back to her head. Keller then placed the hoop over the woman's feet. He walked it up to her head. The people saw the hoop pass again along her body. Nothing was holding her up. Keller gave the hoop to his helper. He pulled the sofa back under the princess. He held up his hands. Slowly, he lowered them. Gently, the woman floated down, down. Then she rested on the sofa. Keller clapped his hands once, twice, 3 times. The princess blinked. She sat up. Keller turned to the people and bowed. They clapped and cheered. They were amazed at what they had seen. A woman floating in midair. Did Keller perform a miracle? Did he really make the princess float in mid-air? What is your guess? How Keller did it. Did you say that the floating princess was a clever trick? You were right. On stage, beside Keller, you would have seen how the trick worked. The woman was really lying on a board on the sofa. Her hair and dress covered it. A black iron bar went from the board through an opening in the curtain. The audience could not see the bar. A helper stood behind the curtain. When Keller said, "Up," the helper pulled a rope. The rope went over a wheel above the helper's head. Then it went down to the bar. The helper's pull lifted the bar, the board, and the princess. It looked as if she were floating in the air. How could the hoop go along the woman's body? The iron bar was bent in a long S curve. When Keller moved the hoop from the woman's head to her feet, The hoop went into one curve of the S. When he came to her feet, Keller stopped. He could not move the hoop farther. Next, he moved the hoop back to her head. He took it off and walked to her feet. There, he placed the hoop around her feet and walked into her head. The hoop went into the other curve of the S. The audience thought the hoop passed all along the princess, but it didn't. Was Princess Karnak a real princess? No, she was one of Keller's helpers. Was she hypnotized? Not at all. She enjoyed a little rest. With a floating princess, the old uncle, who didn't look like a magician, fooled everyone. Did he fool you?